Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? Last night I went to the New Wimbledon Theatre to see a show called Fame, the musical. Now Fame is quite a famous musical. It's quite a well-known show basically. It first came out as a film back in like the 1980s sometime. I think it was the early 1980s. And so a lot of people are familiar with it already. I think I might have seen bits of the film at some point in my childhood, but I don't think I'd ever watched the whole film. So for me, this was a completely new experience. I'd never seen Fame live before anywhere either. I'd never done a production of it or anything. I'd never seen any production of it basically. So I was very excited to see this because, like I said, it's a well-known show. It's kind of like a classic musical in a really weird way, even though it's not really classic because it's quite a kind of recent show, but it's a show that almost everybody knows, and anybody who's interested in theatre at least knows. So yeah, I was excited to see this. Friday was the second day of the tour as far as I know. So this touring production is still quite new, it's only just kind of open really. And yeah, I'm going to tell you my thoughts about it because I really loved it. Right, so Fame. The plot is... it's a typical high school kind of love story type of thing that you see in a lot of films and shows, to be honest. There's actually 3 love stories in this show, and I'm going to name you the characters in it because I think that's going to be easier. We've got Carmen Diaz, and she's kind of like a rebel type of girl. All she wants is to become a star and become famous, and like literally just wants to become that as soon as possible. She doesn't care about anything else. She takes drugs every now and again. Basically, she's not in a good place because like she didn't have a good background either. And yeah, so there's her. Then we've got a guy called Shlomo, and he's had quite a good upbringing. He also wants to kind of make it, I suppose, as a musician. He's in a band, and him and Carmen kind of like each other. So that's the first love story. Then we've got Serena. She's another kind of student in this high school. It's a high school for performing arts, by the way. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. It's basically like a famous kind of high school in New York for performing arts, like acting, singing, dancing and stuff. And these are all the students in it. So yeah, I suppose that gives you a bit more background about the show, sorry. Yeah, Serena. Serena's kind of like a shy girl who's just started at the high school and she's all excited about the course and everything, and she meets this other guy who is called Nick Piazza. He's quite a well-known actor apparently, so even though he's like, you know, in high school and stuff, he's done some shows before and he's been on TV and whatnot, so like he's quite famous. And then Serena kind of falls in love with him, I suppose, in the beginning. She's not sure why she likes him. I mean, people get the feeling that maybe she only likes him because he's famous, but apparently there's more deep feelings behind it, and they both kind of like each other, so that's another love story. Then we've got Tyrone, which I thought was one of the most interesting characters in the show. He's also kind of like a rebel type of character, and he doesn't like ballet, he doesn't like classical dancing. All he wants to do is like do some hip-hop and do his own kind of dance movements and stuff. And at first the dance teachers at that school were like, no, you can't do that, you have to kind of learn ballet and do classic dance and stuff. But slowly the dance teacher, who was called Miss Bell, realises the potential of Tyrone as a choreographer, and she lets him kind of do his own thing in a way, and she partners him with one of the best dancers in her class, who's a good classical dancer basically, not a good hip-hop dancer, and her name is Iris, and they're forced to basically pair up together, and Iris and Tyrone also kind of build a kind of love thing between them. So yeah, there's your third love story. It's not all about love stories though, it's about more than that. It's mainly about people's dreams and goals and what life means in a very cheesy way. I think it's a show mainly for younger audiences. I mean, it's set in high school and most of the cast are like young people, so that makes it more relatable, I think, to younger people. But I think everybody can enjoy it. Like, there were people, older people in the audience when I went, and they all seemed to love it because, like I said, the film came out, so everybody knows the film, everybody knows the song. So yeah, it can be enjoyed by everybody, but like I think particularly young people will get a lot out of this show. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot going on in that high school. That's going to be quite difficult to explain, and it's just going to be long and boring, so I'll let you do the googling and stuff if you want to. But basically they're all in that high school, and it's quite a strict high school in a way. Even though it is a performing arts school, they also have to do well in their academic work. All the art teachers tell them how difficult it is to actually, you know, acting is like the most difficult profession or something. That's one of the songs actually in the first act. So yeah, it's quite a serious thing, and what's interesting about the show is that in that high school there's so many different people from different backgrounds. All the students are like from different cultures and different backgrounds, and they have different dreams and different looks, and that makes it very special because it's fun to see how they interact and how the love stories form because they're so different, all of them. So I think the characters are all very, very interesting in this show. And yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but a few kind of dramatic things happen in the show that were quite interesting to watch. But mainly the whole show is set in that high school pretty much, and it's about the lives of these students and and what they want, and you know, fame, what they the whole kind of meaning behind fame. What does it mean really? Why do young people want to become famous, and all the hard work that goes behind it, and all the difficulties that come with it, and just it's quite interesting in that sense, especially if you're interested in theatre and the arts, which I think everybody who goes to theatre is in some way. You're going to love the show because it touches on different things about this. It's kind of like the chorus line, not as serious as a chorus line, not as deep as a chorus line, definitely not as deep as the chorus line, but it's quite similar in some ways. I suppose it's like a chorus line for younger people. That's how I'd say it. But yeah, the dancing in the show was really, really good. All the cast members were great dancers, and it was very energetic. There were loads of different types of dance as well, like ballet and hip hop, and unfortunately there was no tap dancing, which is my favourite type of dance, I think. But there was different types, and everybody was really, really good. Particularly the guy playing Tyrone and the girl playing Iris. The two of them were really, really good, and it was nice to watch them together. I'll go through the cast list really, really quickly because I thought everyone was good. Now Carmen was played by an understudy, and this is an understudy that I kind of know because I'd seen her in a show before. I saw her in Legally Blonde a few years ago, and you know, she was good in Legally Blonde. I loved her in that. And apparently it was her first time ever going on as Carmen, and I mean, like I said, it was the second show of the tour as far as I know, so it was all pretty new when she got thrown on as Carmen. That must have been pretty scary for her. But she did such a good job. She was amazing. She actually, I mean, if I didn't know, I wouldn't have known that she wasn't the lead. Anyway, I should probably say her name. She's called Micah Richardson, and yeah, she played Carmen the night I saw it, and she was absolutely fantastic. Amazing voice. She looked very confident on stage, which this is what I was surprised about because, like I said, she was an understudy. It was her first night, but she looked so, like, you know, happy to be on stage, and she seemed very comfortable with the material that she had to do and say and stuff. So yeah, I loved her. She was brilliant. Great voice, great dancing. She really got the part as well. She nearly made me cry at the end of the show. So yeah, well done to her. She was brilliant. Shlomo, who's Carmen's love interest, was played by Harry Blumino. I hope I pronounced his last name right. He was brilliant as well. He was so cute in the role. He's meant to be this kind of innocent guy who sees something in Carmen, because Carmen, like I said, is like into drugs and stuff. She's quite a rebel, but Shlomo's the nice type of guy. He's the kind of guy who wants to kind of obey the rules and be nice and do everything right and stuff. But he still somehow falls for Carmen, and I thought, actually, of all the kind of 3 love stories that you see in the show, I think his love for Carmen was the most obvious. He portrayed it really, really well. He's a great dancer as well, great singer, great actor, and he played the keyboard in the show, I think, and the guitar, and he was really good. Tyrone is played by a guy called Alex Thomas. He was fantastic. He was always in character all throughout the show, and he was so good. He just looked so right for the part, and he was like a typical kind of rebel guy, and his dancing was incredible, both hip-hop and ballet. Not completely sure about his singing, because I think in some of the songs where he sang solo, couldn't really hear some of the lines that he was saying properly, but that may just be the orchestra kind of, I don't know what the problem was, but overall I thought he was fantastic. I really, really loved his performance. Then there's Iris, and she was played by Sassy Strallen, who happens to be Scarlett Strallen's little sister. This is my second time seeing Sassy in a show. I saw her in 9 to 5 last year, and it was my first time actually seeing her kind of have a proper role and sing and dance a lot, and she was really good. Her dancing is amazing. It's so like beautiful to watch really, and like I said, her and Tyrone, the guy playing Tyrone, worked really well together, and her singing is nice as well, and she was just a really, really good performer. I'd love to see her in other shows in the future. The Strallen family are just all very talented. Serena was played by Sarah Harlington. She was good. I think she portrayed the character well enough. I mean, she portrayed the shyness of Serena and kind of her teenage sort of love for Nick quite well. She was cute in the role. I believed her. I believed her love for Nick. I think she did a great job with that. Her singing was okay. I mean, it was good. Okay, I feel really bad saying it was okay because it's not like I can do any better, really. But like compared to, like I've heard other versions of some of the songs that she sings in the show, and I didn't think it was the best version I've heard, but it was still good. And you know, overall her performance was good to watch, and I enjoyed it. Nick Piazza was played by Alex Jordan Mills. He was really good as well. Again, his voice I was not really sure about, but overall his performance was really good, and I think actually him and Serena, the girl playing Serena, Sarah, worked really well together as well. There was definitely like a chemistry building up as the show went on, which is what's meant to happen in the show. They're not meant to initially like love each other. I mean, Serena's meant to love him from the beginning, but I thought Alex as Nick did a great job of showing kind of his gradual appreciation for Serena. They're great. I enjoyed their performances, both of them. Another character worth mentioning in the show is Mabel, and she was played by Molly Stewart. She was so funny. She was brilliant. There's a line in the show that I don't really want to ruin it, but I'm going to say it anyway because it was so good. She's meant to be a bit overweight and stuff, and she's a dancer, so it's not really good to be overweight because like dancing needs you to be all fit and stuff. And then she says about how she's tried all these different diets and stuff because she wants to lose weight, and she's finally decided to stick to this one diet because it's the best diet ever, and she calls it the seafood diet. And basically what that means is that you see food and you eat it. So I thought that was brilliant, and I agree with that. I love food. Joseph Giacone, I think that's how you pronounce his surname, played the character of Joe Vegas. He was brilliant, he had a great voice, he was always in character, he was funny, I loved his performance. Alexandra Sarmiento played Grace, or Lamb Chops. She was great as well. I saw her in the chorus line last year. I loved her in that as well, and she was brilliant in this. Great dancer, great acting, loved her. Ross Lee Folks played Goody, who's like another member of the band, just another student in the show. He was great. And yeah, I'm going to name the teachers as well really quickly. Miss Bell, who's a dance teacher who sees the potential in Tyrone and decides to make him like a choreographer of some sort, was played by Hermione Lynch. I thought she was really good. I found it a bit difficult to believe her acting at some points, but overall she was really good, really good, and her voice was great, and just at times it was a bit kind of but no, she was good. I enjoyed it. Then there's Miss Sherman, who's like the English teacher, I believe, and she was played by Landi Yoshinowo. Now, I'd seen Landi before in Shrek and in Sister Act, and so I already knew how amazing she was as a performer. But she was brilliant in this. I mean, her voice, everybody knows, anybody who's seen her before would know that she's got an incredible voice. But her acting as well, she was such a like fierce kind of teacher, and you really genuinely believed her and what she wanted out of the students and stuff. I really enjoyed the performance. There's Mr. Myers, who's like the drama teacher. He was played by David Hayden. He was really good. And then there's Mr. Scheinkopf, and he was played by John Canmore. He was also very good. Basically it was a good cast. There are some ensemble members as well who like do a lot of dancing and stuff, which I mean that's incredible because I love dancing, so I'm not going to name them all because that's going to take a while, but they were all great. So yeah, it was a good cast overall. I especially enjoyed the dancing. The story, like I said, it's quite typical kind of teenager story type of thing that you'd see everywhere in shows and in Disney films and whatnot. But it was good, I enjoyed it. I thought bits of it were quite cheesy, and I love cheesiness. Anybody who knows me knows I love cheesiness, but some of the lines in the show were too cheesy even for me. Like I heard them and I was like, oh, this is cringe, too cheesy. And the thing is, I have no problem with cheesiness. Like I said, I love cheesiness. But the cheesiness in this show at some points was so much that it kind of made it unbelievable, because it was like you wouldn't say things like that in real life, I don't think. And some of the love stories were a bit too convenient. Like I didn't believe all of them, and I thought that a couple of them were a bit forced and just too kind of cheesy, I don't know. But it was fun for what it was, you know. If you just kind of don't think about the story and the little errors that I saw in the story and the plot, you will enjoy it because it's a really, really fun show. The dancing's great, and the music, I haven't mentioned the music actually yet. The songs are really good. Like, you'd probably know some of the songs, like Fame is one of the most important, most famous songs from the show. That's really good, I love that. But then this show also has one of my favourite songs of all time, I think, favourite musical songs of all time, and that's Let's Play a Love Scene, which is a song that Serena sings. I love that song, it's such a beautiful song, I think, and I loved hearing it live and seeing it in context for the first time. Tyrone does a couple of raps in the show, and that was really good. In fact, like I said, all the songs were enjoyable to listen to. Landi Yoshinowo's song was also really nice, and she sang it so well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about the show, I think. I'm going to be honest, I think I enjoyed it more than The Commitments, which I saw a couple of days ago. And I love The Commitments, so I mean, it just means that I love this a bit more. Like I said, I don't think it's an incredible show. There are some little kind of minor things that I don't like about it, and some of the scenes, especially in the beginning, I thought felt a bit disconnected. But overall, I enjoyed it, I loved it, and that's what, you know, a musical theatre is meant to be about, I think. It was entertaining, all the cast was good, I loved the dancing, the songs were great. It made me feel happy, which is what shows should do. So yeah, if this show comes near you, I'm going to put the link to the kind of website in the description thing below. If this new production of Fame, which is actually a very small scale production, I have to say I didn't mention the sets, but the sets are very minimal. There's not much on stage, to be honest. And the small things that you do get on stage are kind of, it's just, the cast members have to kind of constantly turn them around and stuff. It's not that exciting, the sets. But that's what you get from a touring show, and it doesn't really matter because the performances were good enough. But yeah, it's still a good show. It's a good production. I doubt it's the best production of Fame that's ever happened, but I'm still glad that I got to see it, and I think you should see it too if it comes near you. So, like I said, go and look at the website and see if it comes near you, and if it does, I think you should go and have a look and watch it because it's a good show. I feel like I've been talking a lot, and I've been talking really fast as well because I'm meant to go to a concert in about half an hour, so I need to rush this. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!